Well, all right. Figured I'd get on. A good time is right about now. It's about 10:41. I'm probably not going to go on for long. Most people will probably view this as an archive. If I get some live people in here, I get them in here. So I have to introduce myself. It's DJ81. That channel Skins for Life. And yes, the title indicates it. Yeah, let's talk about the Washington Capitals. So we're going to get right into it. They're now down 2-1 after losing in overtime to the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 4-3. They had a 3-1 lead and blew it. And it's understandable that Caps fans are all over the place, but not shocked that this is happening because this has happened to this Caps team year in and year out, no matter who they've had on the squad, no matter who the coach has been, no matter who the GM has been. Ever since after that 98 NHL Stanley Cup playoff run, the team has been just squandering opportunities, especially with the current group that they have. They've had Ovechkin, Backstrom. They've had those cats for a while now. Again, it seems like it hasn't mattered who the coach has been, who the GM has been. And I'm also going to place a little bit of this blame on the fans. Now, I say a little bit, not too much, because watching the Toronto Maple Leafs and their fans, how they willed, I'm going to talk about that in a second, how they willed their team to score goals, how they willed their team to fend off a two-man advantage, and then a couple of other penalty killing moments that the Caps had an advantage on, and how they willed this team to win in overtime. It seems like with Caps fans, we tend to wait for stuff to happen before we start getting involved in the game. And the Maple Leafs fans, they were immediately taken out of it when we went up 2-0. But after a few big hits, they got into it. They were steady throughout the rest of the game. There was no quiet moments in Air Canada. So I commend the Toronto Maple Leafs fans for backing their squad versus Capitals fans. Seems like we hoop and holler at the beginning of the game, then we go quiet when nothing's happening, when nobody's scoring, no big hits, nothing's like we just sit there and just watch. Like the whole stadium gets tight. And then all of a sudden if the Caps score, now they're getting into it. And that's not how playoffs work. That kind of stuff works in the regular season. That kind of stuff does not work in the playoffs. As fans, we need to do more. And we won't get that chance until Game 5. But Caps need to come back in Game 4 and win that game. Now, I said I was going to talk about the will part. And I distinctly remember the Caps saying this as a catchphrase: will over skill. That was at the beginning of the season. Well, you got the skill, but that doesn't mean shit in the playoffs if there's no will behind it. If you lack the desire to do what's necessary to make that extra play, to take that shot, and that's another thing. Caps too pretty, once again, trying to play that pretty hockey in the playoffs. That shit does not work. It doesn't work. It has not worked. I don't know why the Capitals continue to try to play pretty hockey. It's about who wants it more. And I tweeted this earlier. I'm going to repeat. Playoffs in the NHL is about who wants it more and when that puck decides to go in the net. Doesn't matter who's shooting the puck. We saw in game 1, Wilson just took a chance, shot on goal, it went in. That's the way the playoffs work. You don't necessarily need Ovechkin to score, but he needs to get his shots in. I know that much because he's a shooter. He's a sniper. He needs to get his shots in. Everyone needs to shoot at the puck. You see Toronto, everybody's taking shots. Everybody's just throwing the puck towards the net because you don't know. The puck could deflect off of here, could deflect off a stick. Like in a couple of cases, like it deflected off a dude's head on our team, and dude took advantage of it, driving to the net, and scored that way. One deflected off of dude's arm and scored that way. And then the game winner for Toronto, another deflection. The puck will find its way in the back of the net at some point in time. You just have to continue throwing pucks at the net. And then at the same time, you really only have 1 or 2 guys that are driving to the net that are doing anything. So, but I think a couple of things need to happen to this Caps team. I honestly believe that this Caps team needs Barry Trotz to rip them 100 new ones. Because even though you see Toronto is playing harder, they're playing faster, and they're taking these hits that the Caps are giving them and then giving them right back. They out-hit the Caps after the Caps had initially out-hit them. So you can't beat them. So you can't beat them with the pace of the game. You can't beat them with the hits. You got to do something else. But I believe Barry Trotz should rip this team 100 new ones. And I believe that this team needs a wake-up call. And the only other way I see this wake-up call even coming to would be in the form of former Caps players, specifically from that 1998 Stanley Cup Finals team. Players like Peter Bondra, Joey Juneau, Dale Hunter needs to come back. Remember, he was coaching his team a couple of seasons ago, and when it was like all defense, no offense. And that was a pretty tough team. If that team was playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, that team would probably be up 3-0 right now. I kid you not, because it's one thing to skate with teams, but it's another thing where you couldn't get shots through. And that was a team with Dale Hunter. Shots were not getting through. Shots are getting through with this team. So most of those players on that team right now don't want to sacrifice. That's what I mean. It's all about how much do you want it. Do you want to defend your goalie? And even Holtby, I look at Holtby. A lot of the goals have been deflections, but he's been pretty weak on these other goals, like goals going between his legs, like just like slithering through. That's inexcusable, and those are soft goals. Shouldn't be giving those up. So he's been kind of flaky thus far. I'm going to take a drink real quick. But yeah, I think the Caps need a visit from that squad, because I'm telling you right now, the way things are playing out, I bet you that 98 squad could beat this current President Trophy winning squad as we speak. And it's funny that I say that, because that 98 squad was not the number 1 ranked squad. I think, if I remember correctly, they were a lower seed that made it all the way to the finals. Even though they got swept by the Detroit Red Wings, they were there was nothing the Caps were going to be able to do to beat them. They got swept. So, but I bet that 98 squad would beat the Capitals. Definitely need to wake up. They definitely need somebody in their ear. They definitely need to add that desire, the will to win. Excuse me, because they have the skill. They just don't have the will. The will is not there. They're getting outplayed. They're getting out hustled. The Maple Leafs have been getting to the puck faster. They've played better defense. It's just point blank. The Toronto Maple Leafs are outplaying the Washington Capitals. And it's inexcusable because this team on the Washington Capitals, they have the players, they have the experience. They just need to do it. And I don't know what it's going to take. These guys are just too freaking comfortable playing in the first and second round and going no further. They don't want to get bruised up. They don't want to mix it up. It's a pretty team. You know, it's nice to have back-to-back Presidents trophies, but what about that Stanley Cup? Sure, the throw salt on the wound. You don't see Pittsburgh. You don't see the Penguins celebrating President's Trophy. They're celebrating Stanley Cups. That's what they do because they know how to play in the playoffs. Shoot, you play this way against any team in the Western Conference, you're getting your ass kicked. At this point, honestly, Toronto's looking at this series like, wow, if we don't have that fluke goal, we could be up 3-0, possibly going to sweep the Caps out the first round. And here's where the panic button is going to hit if the Caps were to lose game 4. If the Caps were to lose game 4, and then they go on to lose game 5, let's say they lose the series 4-1, is this team going to get blown up? Are they going to go in the hole again and you're going to see losing like you've never seen before? Because it seems like it doesn't matter who the coach is. It doesn't matter who the players are around our core. It seems like it's not enough to get it done. I'm not saying we can't win with Ovechkin. It's possible. It's very possible. But everybody on the team needs to pitch in, and I don't see that. I see them playing in the playoffs right now. I don't see the desire that it takes to play in the playoffs. I see the desire to play in the regular season. They play in the same way they play in the regular season. And it's the playoffs. You got to play differently. You got to be willing to do more and step it up. And I just don't see this team taking that next step. To my knowledge, it seems like they just tend to get lucky when it comes to getting past teams. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I didn't want to stay on long. I just wanted to get that out because I know Caps fans, either they're frustrated by what has been taking place, which has been taking place for several years now, and maybe overall the expectations for the Caps are just too high because they've been on this expecting to win the Stanley Cup for the last 2 years. This has been the window. And I feel after this year, I honestly believe after this year, it's closed. Because Ovechkin's coming towards the end of his contract. Backstrom, I don't know. I hope he is still fresh in his contract. But, his playoff performance so far has sucked. And he needs to step it up. I don't care if they're deflections or whatnot. Defense needs to play better. I think, like I said, overall, the Caps need to add desire to what they got out there. If they can match the desire of the Toronto Maple Leafs, then they will come back and they will win this series. If not, it's over by game 5. I guarantee you that. And I'm going to wrap it up there because, like I said, I didn't want to stay on long. Again, it's your boy DJ81 on that channel, Skins for Life. Shaking my head once again at the Washington Capitals. And definitely can't wait till Wednesday with the Washington Wizards, who took game 1 against the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks. And maybe I should do a stream on that one too. Nope, I'm not talking about it now. I'm going to go because I would have taken longer than I wanted to. So that being said, I am out of here. I'm going to watch the rest of this Monday Night Raw, this main event between Braun Strowman and the Big Show. See how this goes. All right, you guys take care and peace.